Oh yeah, so here is Kenji's deck list. The Esper Doom Foretold. Looks like a pretty standard one. What do you think, Danny?
Yeah, it looks really standard. What stands out to me is 4 Extinction Event main. Not even considering a Shatter here, just going directly to the 4 Extinction Event. Having 3 Yorions main. Playing only 2 Elsewhere's Nightmare, which is a bit lower than most lists have, but having 2 Omen of the Sun as well. This is a really standard list, and he went for the split with Golden Egg and Tome 2-2, which is also something you're going to see a lot.
Yeah, I really like. I know I've said this before, but like what I really like about all of these Esper decks is that, like, you know, although they're all Esper Doom Foretold, like they all have their slight variations to make them different and give them different edges based on their various matchups.
Exactly. There are not many cards you can actually take out of the deck, because there are definitely like a certain set of cards that are just fixed in a deck. And the sideboard is also something you see difference. Kenji prioritizing some Shock Typhoons here in the sideboard, probably for the Mirror and the Rogue matchup. You saw people going away from Shock Typhoon completely because it's one deck.
All right, so now we're going to take a look at Ashlizzle's deck.
Yeah, Ashlizzle's going to play the Rogue Dimir deck here, and looking at this deck, we're going to see another Saracen Rogue version, another Lyric version, Saracen Rogue version here. Looking at this deck, I like it. This is a really, really good list. 2 negates main just stand out to me right now here, and yeah, I like it. I think this deck
I like
is really
the main deck didn't say please.
Yeah, like, I mean, this deck is more control-y. We see like 2 didn't say please, we see 2 negate, 2 dispute, and we're gonna see an additional Drown in the Lock, which is 10 counter possible in game 1, which is not easy for the Esper Doom player. This is not a list you like. You don't want to see this many counters. This is definitely a deck that targets the Esper list a little bit more than the other lists, but I really like it, and I saw her playing it yesterday when I was watching her. She really knows what she's doing.
Oh, absolutely. All right, here we go. So it looks like we are looking at Kenji's gameplay here. Looks like he went ahead and kept that opening hand, 2 lands.
Yeah, 2 lands with Scry, and you have a Tome, right? There's so many cards you can find. If you find the 3rd land, you also have the options just to drop Blessing and find even more cards. So I kind of agree with the keep here. And on the other side, we have Ashlizzle with double Enforcer, which has a good pressure point, and we found a 3rd land. So Kenji must be happy.
And just a point to note, this is the card that has been changing games quite a lot. Ashlizzle has 2 Into the Stories in her hand.
Yeah, so we're gonna see an Enforcer here, and probably an Answer as well. Okay, yeah, Maze Mind Tome here is perfect because you know it doesn't get countered. You know you get the Maze Mind Tome. You know you can use it even later to draw cards. You can fix your draws right now with the Scry. So I totally agree with Kenji's play here.
All right, so now Ashlizzle is going to decide what to do. So it looks like she drew another Enforcer. 3 Enforcers.
So having 3 Enforcers makes you think those 2 Into the Story, they will go live. They will definitely go live. We see 4 lands there. Double Enforcer makes sure she gets enough cards in the graveyard to play Into the Story for only 4 mana.
Yeah, the only problem I foresee is that Extinction event.
Yeah, that Extinction event is huge. Especially now you only see black source there, so you're going to think like, should I wait? I will take a lot of damage, but I can actually go for all. But it's probably too risky, and this is a hard decision here. If you're in Kenji's shoes, you go like, okay, I can only play 1 removal spell next turn, and there's a 9 board damage. It's heavy.
Whew.
Oof. Okay, I think
so
you
just a heartless act.
Yeah. I mean, you kind of want to keep it though, but if you miss a land here, it's going to be huge. So I do like it here. Yeah.
All right, so he's going to go ahead and scry. Ooh, Treacherous Blessing. Definitely doesn't want that.
So happy to see the land here, obviously. So this is really interesting. Now we have the point where, do I want to 3 cards in Extinction Event next turn? But if there's a counter on Ashlizzle, like if there's a blue land into counter, Kenji is in a lot of trouble. So he's like, no, I don't take that risk. I'm pretty sure I'm just gonna play the Cascade and make sure I don't die to the rogues.
All right, so looks like Ashlizzle drew nothing but land here.
But then again, Ashlizzle has 2 Into the Stories in the hand, and that's basically a new hand. And she's just attacking 6 damage here.
Yep. All right, so cracking that passage, pulling for that white.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, there's the Doom Foretold, which we haven't really seen in play yet with our matches today.
Yeah, but yeah, I think Extinction is definitely the correct choice here. You get the 2-for-1 here. There is no counter possibility, and now you know. Okay, now we need to play the game. So, so Ashlizzle is probably checking Kenji's list. If there is a counter right now? Yeah, that's what we're gonna see here.
So it looks like she's gonna wait to play the Into the Story on Kenji's turn.
You definitely
going ahead and bottoming that Elspeth. Another Heartless Act.
So the thing is, what's really interesting, if you play the Blessing here, you can also just draw a card here. This is the more, I would say, greedy line, but probably the better line, because if you hit the land, ooh, that's the classic, the tapped land here. So now she's going to Into the Story, and Kenji didn't draw 3 cards, right? So it would be 3 mana for 3 cards or 4 mana for 4 cards, which is a really interesting situation here.
Ooh, that is a lot of land.
That's
not quite what you want to draw with Into the Story.
Not too happy about this, but then again, you know, I have a second Into the Story. That should be okay. Sorting all the lands out here. Having a Mystical Dispute is also nice. It doesn't counter really well right now, but you have 5 mana open, so that should be fine.
Ooh, all right. So drawing another Scry land.
Yep.
So we have a pretty slow start so far. Neither person can do a whole lot at the moment. It's just kind of waiting for the other person to do something so that you can do something.
It is so scary to be in Kenji's shoes right now. There's 5 mana open and 7 cards on Ashlizzle's hand. This is like, wow, okay. I think everything gets countered, but then again, there's only 1 counter, but he doesn't know. He doesn't know. This is really hard. You can take Yorin, keep something up, or you just go Blessing and hope there's no counter, but you will run into a counter. And he's like, no.
He's just holding.
Yeah.
It looks like she's probably going to cycle that Shark.
Yep, definitely a cycle here.
Pressure on the board, get a new card. The win-win.
Yep. And I think Kenji wants to keep the Blessing for a double spell potential. Doesn't like that he can only play Blessing and then have Act Up. Doesn't feel too good there. And yep.
Ooh. That is a lot of land. However, she could play that Agadeem's Awakening, but I think she'd only be able to pull a single rogue.
Yep. Really interesting here. Drawing many lands, but still having Into the Story, still have a counter, and still have a cycle. So the game is definitely over. It still looks, in my opinion, favorite to Ashlizzle right now. But yeah, now you can actually play the Blessing and it doesn't get countered. I mean, it can, but...
Deck Yorion in hand. So it looks like, he's going to go with the Treacherous Blessing, try to find some of those cards that he needs.
So I think here you can... This is a hard one. Do you want to run Into the Story and make sure you discard a lot of cards? Because you don't want Kenji to draw 3 cards here. You really don't want to. And if you see an Into the Story here, you know there's no other counter on Ashlizzle's hand. And that's what she is thinking right now.
All right, so she is going to go ahead and play that Into the Story. Ooh, there's Drown in the Lock. There it is.
Yeah. You're definitely going to go to counter this because it's a 1 for basically 3. And yeah, you want to make sure you have it. But now I think Kenji knows, okay, there's potentially a dispute and no other counter, but just drawing so many cards is always scary.
Right. It's just a lot of lands.
It's just a lot of cards, right? We have a Drown in the Lock extra now. We have a Mystical Dispute. And we have a creature at least to pressure a bit, but it's it's definitely a lot of lands. That is So,
But at least one of those lands is a cycle land, so you
yeah,
know
the
you can get
cycle-
some value out of it.
I mean, you definitely play a land and probably just go. But then again, you think, well, I have to discard a card, so I could just cycle now. But with this many lands in your hand, you don't mind to just discard a land as well.
Question is,
And
which land do you discard? There's so many.
probably, so if you discard a scry land, you basically do this to have more potential spells a turn because the land will get tapped and it has to discard too. So
Ooh, he was able to top deck another Treacherous Blessing.
yeah, but there's an answer, right? This is tough. This is a tough spot here. Oh, so you could go for the Yorion just to pressure because you have a double Yorion, and if the blessing goes out, I like the Doom Portal play here. Actually, I really like this because it forces a count out, or you get the card right. So probably going to see a dispute here.
And it's the perfect time for her to play the dispute.
Yep.
So
Definitely the dispute here into Enforcer and Cycle.
all right, so now she can go ahead and play that rogue. That is her fourth and final rogue.
Yep, that's the fourth Enforcer already.
Just milling 2 lands, so not too bad.
Yeah, you don't mind the act here, so you're just you're gonna cycle here, but the stop here just tells her, oh, there's a Heartless Act, and it's gonna use it.
And there are no more of those rogues in her deck. Ooh,
so
that Zareth would have been so good.
This is really interesting right now, right? Do you have many 1 mana cost rogues in your graveyard? So the Agadeem's Awakening is not actually that good, right? If you're looking at your graveyard, I mean, all the cards are actually exiled. So here you probably just going for.
It looks like paying 4 mana to get a 1/1. Well, I mean, I guess at this point it'd be a 3/2 rogue, but still an expensive rogue.
Still nice. You have the counter there. You only word of a double spell because you have only 1 counter because you only have 1 black there.
She did go ahead and mill another one of those Heartless Acts, so that's pretty good on her part.
So this is really interesting right now. At this spell, right? He really needed the double spell. The best card draw here would by far Doom Foretold, where you play the land, you go Blessing, bait out the counter, and here we're going to see probably a counter.
She just doesn't want him to draw cards.
Nope. Only I am allowed to draw cards within the story, not you. That's the mentality of the rogues here. So.
Exactly. So, yep, there's the counter spell as expected. And that's really all Kenji can do this turn.
So we're going to see an attack with the Trickster, and having 2 counters up here makes her really, really comfortable, right? You're going to use the Saracen here. You get a card from the graveyard. You actually can get a Blessing here and draw 3 cards.
Yeah, I believe there was actually a Skyclave that was in the graveyard that she could steal and get rid of that glass casket if she really wanted to.
There's so many options here. I'm gonna if she's gonna take the Blessing here, she has a hard time to get rid of the Blessing. Also, Doom Foretold, not too bad here to get rid of the casket, but choose the Blessing here to draw more cards, and yeah, I mean, this is a pretty strong hand. Yeah. So Kenji's on 11 life, and we have a Drown in the Lock here, and yeah, goes for the Omen into Yorion if possible, but it feels like you do not play the game anymore.
Yeah, and I mean, she can counterspell this if she really wants to.
Kenji really tries to draw us cards, but Ashley is like, nope, you will not draw a single.
And she can counter this too.
I think she will not. I think she will just use the Heartless Act here, because I mean, I don't see the glass casket here, right? So just let it go. I also have removal. I don't have.
Kenji's probably like, oh my goodness, I resolved something.
Yeah, he's like double spell finally.
And oh yeah, there's the instant concede with that Heartless Act. Poor Kenji.
Oh, yeah.
I feel for him.
Yeah,
I do.
Kenji really knows what he's doing. I want to have all my escape cards. Give me those escape cards. Probably doesn't like the Omen of the Sun too much here. There are many cards you do not like. Yeah, usually you take out the artifacts here and the Elspeth's Conqueror's Death, and you play negates in duress and shocks.
So far, it looks like he's keeping those omens in.
Yeah, you like the
there
omen.
they go.
So you don't like, but the blue omen you have to keep. Everything you can play in that turn is really good.
All right, throwing in some negates, taking out some of the extinction events.
All
of the extinction events.
Actually looks like
no, there's still one.
Maybe I would play the Elspeth's Knight. Yeah, he's reading my mind here. So yeah, this is really good to me. You can actually consider taking out the Yorion because of the counters here. But yeah, this is a close call. Yorion or Doom sometimes, but on the play, I would maybe take out a Yorion. Dance is also fine.
He's maybe thinking about Dance.
Yeah, Dance feels. So Dance is a really good card against Rogue because you fill up your graveyard and you can actually use the Dance to get back the cards.
Exactly.
I wonder which card it's gonna be. I think I would maybe take out the Yorion here. Oh, Blessing. Yeah, I can understand.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
With the Blessing, it seems like.
So, and for Ashlizzlle here, it's like, okay, my game plan stays the same. I have all my counters. I just make sure he doesn't draw any cards.
He doesn't draw any cards. He doesn't play any cards.
Yep.
He just mills cards, and I kill him.
So
that's a really good plan.
Exactly, and the Shock Typhoons are usually really nice against the classic rogue decks, but we're gonna see here the Saracen rogues. So maybe we see a Shock Typhoon hotcast on Ashley's side. Let's see.
Seems like not the best kind of opening hand.
You want to find
really slow, but not terrible.
Yeah, you have many 2-mana removals here, but on the play, this is technically doable with Elspeth's Nightmare into Doom Foretold, and you have a Scry. It's not the perfect hand. This is a really tough decision here. Do you want to mull and fight another removal, or do you want to keep this hand and fight with the Elspeth's Nightmare? That's a really tough one.
He's going for that mulligan. And it looks like Ashlizzlle had to mulligan too.
Yeah, I think Kenji's happy with the mulligan here. Founds the Omen and founds the turn 2 removal. Definitely nice. Also keeping a Yorion here is nice. And bottling the Swamp here because you really want to have the double white.
All right, so Ashlizzle is still debating what to keep. Oh, mulligan to 5.
Mulligan. Oh wow, this is a mulligan to 4 here.
Or is that? Oh my gosh.
She has to return 3 cards.
Is that
now.
mulligan to 3? I saw.
I think it's a mulligan to 4, and she has to return 3 cards. So at least you're on the draw, and you go like, okay, I'm gonna draw a card, so I go to 5. But heavy mulligan.
She's at least got some control in it.
It's a mulligan to 5, huh? Not to 4. Sorry for that. Yeah.
All right. So Ashlizzle is gonna go ahead and play that Triome. We drew Doom Foretold over here.
So Kenji's like, I want to draw lands. I have my Omen here, but I want to draw lands. And that is actually a really interesting card. But there's a Glass Casket.
Ooh, Skyclave Shade. I love that alternate art on it.
Yeah, Skyclave Shade is a really impressive card. Against Esper Doom, it's a bit tricky because there are many cards that have exile potential. And we're just going to see a Glass Casket here. So this way, Kenji makes sure the shade doesn't come back from the graveyard every time you play a land, and I think it was definitely the correct decision.
All right, so she's just going to keep her mana open to either counter something or play that thief.
That is a really interesting spot here as well. So in Kenji's shoes, you go like, okay, I want to find my 5th land here. If I play my Blessing and it gets countered, I lose value. So I can see, ooh, that's really nice. Will he press control here just to bait the card?
Oh.
Yeah.
And he gets milled. You know, that's got to be like one of the worst counter spells out there. Like, not only is your spell countered, but you also have to mill.
Yeah, and that enables Brown in the lock now, right? So with that, you can actually count. Ooh, that's a good draw.
That's a good card.
Yeah, he was. I'm pretty sure it's like, I wished I waited a turn. I could have pressed into Blessing. That's like those spots, right? Sometimes you go for it. And I mean, here we're probably going to see a Drown in the Loch because that's the card that will get taken away. So don't give away all the information here.
Exactly.
And there will be a thief. End of turn. And he probably knows there's a thief. So yeah, Ashlizzle is almost out of cards, and Kenji still has a little bit more cards. And the Yori can blink the Omen to find even more cards.
Alright, so she's got that Xerath, but
so interesting. I think we're gonna, yeah.
So, and she had to shock it in.
Yeah, what's interesting is now Kenji
eliminate.
Yeah, Kenji's like, I know you have the Saracen, I'm gonna play Doomportal, play it end of turn. Just do it. So Kenji definitely could read this line here. I mean, it was the best line she could have done here,
absolutely.
Kenji, like, with his experience, he instantly knew this, I'm pretty sure.
So yeah, Ashlizzle definitely doesn't want to play that Xerath now.
I mean, the thing is, I think you do, right? Because then at least Doom goes back. Because if you don't, Kenji draws a card and you discard Seraph. So no matter what you do, Seraph is gone. Do you want to keep one more round up? Which I think is the correct choice here. But it's really close. It's really close. I mean, now I'm a bit... I mean, now she doesn't play it, right? She would have played it end of turn there. So she has mana available this turn if she draws something.
I would think that she wouldn't play it based on keeping mana open just in case she draws something better.
Yeah, so now I don't think she will play anything. I think she will just let it go and Seraph goes to the graveyard. Otherwise, you would have played it end of turn. But it's a really tough choice. It is a really tough choice, and the thing is, if you do it, then Kenji maybe has to sacrifice the Omen, right? So you cannot bounce the Omen. So I think she should have done it end of turn, but it's so close, right? I think right now she's probably thinking, no, I have to let this go. If I let it go through, that makes sense here.
All right, and there's a Soaring Thought Thief.
That's not too bad.
Not quite a great answer here either, but
perfect,
it's
right?
something.
It could be a world where she plays it end of turn, attacks, and then gets the mill in, and on the mill, she's just gonna play an Into the Story if she draws one.
She definitely needs an Into the Story right now.
Definitely. I mean,
it looks like they're
multi 5, and it's never easy.
But just bouncing the Omen to scry and draw a card.
Mm-hmm.
Not the best of cards. Well, another Doom Foretold, not bad.
You like to see it. So you can actually double spell next turn. So you have Doom Foretold and Eliminate up if you shock in the Emir's Call here. Yeah, it looks like an attack.
Go ahead and just attack, yeah.
Ooh, interesting. Scared of the sun. Oh, that's interesting. So do we see Omen to find land? Or do we see Emir's Call, Doom into Omen? There are multiple... Ooh, that's all. Yeah, that's also possible. So I actually like this line a lot here. Playing Omen or Eliminate in Ashley's turn, and then just having a Yorion here to get immense value because you can double blink. Yeah, not much
dust. It looks like she's probably going to go ahead and negate that Omen of the Sea.
Yeah, I mean, it's scary because there's a Yorion. Wow, this Elspeth's Nightmare is really, really good.
Oof.
This is a really, really good draw. So if you use the Cling now, you can use it one more next turn before it gets exiled. So you want to get the value from Cling here now, and I think that's the correct choice here. Just draw the cards, get as many cards as possible in, and a land.
Oof. It went from Kenji not getting the best draws in game 1 to Ashlizzle not getting the best draws in game 2. But that's just how it goes.
That's how it goes. So
and there's the scoop.
Yeah, it's a bit too hard because you're gonna lose the count on your hand next turn because of Elspeth's Nightmare, and you're gonna lose the Cling the next turn. So Elspeth Nightmare is one of my favorite cards against rogues.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, that's a really good card. So we see Kenji's like, I'm gonna keep this way. Let's go, and now Ashlizzle is on the play.
Like, yeah, this is fine. This worked out great. Let's do this
Yeah,
again.
I could draw cards, at least some. That seems good to me.
All
Yeah.
right, so let's see if they both have to mulligan again.
Well,
Ooh, that would be a yes.
so the thing here is, so there are actually 3 spells you can play. You have a Scryland, and you're on the draw, right? Kenji's like, am I risking this? I don't think this is like this is a really so this is a Seth keep here. So if Seth maybe would keep this hand, he's like, I'm gonna draw all the lands, no problem for me.
I wish I had that sort of confidence. And I do sometimes, and then it never goes well.
Yep.
It's generally not till like turn 6 by the time I'm dead when I finally get my second land.
Yeah, exactly.
But...
So Kenji's like, do we believe in the lands? Because
is he going to risk it?
I mean, you get the extra draw, you get the scry, and he's like, I cannot do this. He wants so bad, and he's happy now. He's like, yeah.
This is probably a much better hand, worth the mulligan.
He's like, correct choice here. Have my draws, have my removal.
And it looks like the mulligan for Ashlizzle worked out better too.
Yeah. So he didn't went for the Seth keep here, but yeah.
Ooh, getting rid of that apparition.
2 removal spells actually gone with 1 enforcer. That seems good. He's like,
another omen.
He has 2 card draw cards on his hand already, so it's like one of them will give me cards.
All right. So Ashlizzle has that Soaring Thought Thief ready, or potentially that Drawn in the Lock ready.
So Ashlizzle is thinking, if I play the Thief here, I get 2 extra mill down because on attack, right? Or she's thinking, should I keep up Drawn in the Lock for a 2 mana spell, which could be a casket, right? So if she goes for the Thief, there will be the casket next turn. If she doesn't go for the Thief, she could technically counter the casket as well. It's a really, really hard turn here. A really, really tough decision because you don't know what is on the hand. You just guess what could be.
Those are some decent mills.
The mills are definitely good here. And yeah, so here we have the casket, and she's probably like, okay, sure. At least I have the Brace and Borrow. I can get the Rogue back in and trigger the Enforcer again.
Exactly.
So
and then no, wait, never mind.
Then you fill up the graveyard, or you just keep up a counter. I mean, you have 2 counters on your hand. You can keep it up. I think it's actually better to keep up the counters. And I think she will go for that line.
All right. So drawing another land. It's like Kenji's gonna just wait to do the omen. And Ashlizzle's gonna go ahead and borrow that casket, get her rogue back.
Yep, that seems correct. That was
and make mill.
So here we see now the activation of the rogue. So I could see Kenji actually playing Glimp pretty soon, so he's able to escape it again. Because if there's an Into the Story, you kind of get scared.
Oh, absolutely. Taking a casual 6 damage here.
Casual 6 damage. You want to play Omen if possible, but I think you have to go for the Glints here. It's really close.
Ooh.
Yeah.
All right, so there's the Omen.
He values if he plays Omen, he's like, okay, I can go deeper in my deck. I can go maybe double spell next turn. I can go Glass Casket plus another Glass Casket plus a removal. So this is probably the choice here. That's a no.
Oof, so many lands. And there's another one.
It's like 6 lands in a row.
Oh my god.
Well, okay, like, well.
Brutal when that happens.
That is brutal. So
that's wow.
You want a casket here, right? But you know if you casket it gets countered. Those lands.
So yep, looks like he's gonna go ahead and try that casket again, basically knowing it's gonna be countered.
Yep. So we're probably gonna see a didn't say please. It's more mana efficient and you get triple spell next turn. Double spell. That's probably what we're gonna see. Yep. And here we go.
Yep, there's the didn't say please.
Didn't say please, Kenji.
Ooh, losing a Yorion and a Heartless Act.
So now we have the 2-turn clock. And yeah, Ashlizzlle has 2 counters. And she's like, okay, no matter what you play, I got this. I got this.
Absolutely.
So double spelling is also really, really tricky here now. You need double white spell. You need double casket or casket and apparition.
And she could easily just mystical dispute this
Yeah.
glimpse. Oh.
All lands, right? So this is really, oh my god.
Oh, she actually let it go through.
That's a bad one. This is where Kenji knows he lost the game. You can try to glimpse into a casket, but then you need to dodge a counter and a creature at the same time. So there's also a Brazen Borrow, which is lethal as well. So no matter what creature you would get away, Brazen Borrow comes in, right? That is the problem. I think there's absolute no outs, even without that bad draw now. Oh wow. Yeah, you have to go for this one, but that's a GG, I guess. Well, that was a good game. That was definitely a good game here.
Wow.
Wins.
That was intense.
GG. Well played. Well played. Enjoyed the match. It's a classic Esper against Rogue deck. It can go both ways, and Ashlizzlle played this really well. This Sans Serif Rogue version seems to be the way to go right now. It seems so powerful, not being like too much into the mill with lures and the crabs. So I really, really like her list. And what I like about her list a lot is she plays many counters. Like, this is a matchup, I think she was prepared for this matchup. She was like, okay, I think there will be many Esper Doom. I'm gonna run some extra counters in the main, and that worked out well.
That's kind of Ashlizzle's playstyle, though, is she hates playing against control decks of that nature, right? And so she specifically builds decks that counter them. So
yeah, she definitely doesn't like to play against control, and I like the idea, let's play control rogues against control. So
I know, right?
yeah,